Since Rise of Skywalker closed the Skywalker saga in December 2019, Disney has announced at least 10 new Star Wars theatrical films. 0 have made it to a theater. The one that finally broke the streak is a 166 million repackaged Disney Plus TV season, which they swear it's not. Rian Johnson's trilogy, Benioff and Weiss trilogy, Kevin Feige's film, Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, Taika Waititi's project, Damon Lindelof's Rey film, Stephen Knight's Rey film, Guillermo del Toro's Jabba movie, James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi, Dave Filoni's Mandalorian team-up film, all announced with press releases, all dead, parked, or delayed. Then Lucasfilm did the simplest thing possible. They took what was going to be Mandalorian Season 4 and moved it to theaters. The budget is the tell, $166 million. Per the California Film Commission, Rise of Skywalker cost $416 million. Force Awakens cost $638 million. Even The Acolyte, the Disney show, the Disney Plus show, Disney canceled for being too expensive, came in at $230 million. The Star Wars theatrical film restarting the franchise cost less than the Star Wars streaming show they just killed for costing too much. The math only works if you understand what broke. Disney paid $4 billion for Lucasfilm in 2012, planning a Marvel-style theatrical engine. When Rise of Skywalker landed badly with fans, they pivoted. Star Wars was moving to Disney Plus. The Mandalorian was the anchor. Disney Plus then ran up $11 billion in cumulative operating losses before reaching profitability. And Iger called the aggressive streaming push a mistake in 2023. So now the flagship Disney Plus show is the movie that has to restart theatrical. A TV cast, a TV director, a story originally planned as a streaming season, running a summer window against Mission Impossible and Marvel. What you're watching in that trailer is a $4 billion acquisition, 6 years of aborted directors, and a collapsed streaming thesis, all being carried on the back of one puppet baby.
I would push back a little bit. I mean, Jon Favreau is not a TV director.
Yeah,
he
made Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a TV director. But is The Mandalorian gonna bomb?
Yes.
I mean, because I've looked for tickets. Tickets went on sale Friday, and there are plenty of seats, even at the AMC Burbank 16. It's the home theater. It is the biggest theater in LA area. That's where people go for the big films, and there are plenty of seats. Plenty.
Yeah, it's got a lot going against it. I mean, like it says carried on the back of one little puppet that's lost all of its hype around it.
Yeah, people are going.
This is a movie that's coming off of the back of a TV show. Not a lot of people watch that TV show. They're just going to see this movie and like that's it. Oh, a Star Wars movie. There's no hype from it. It's coming off of the back of a TV show. That I think that like they're putting this out because they have to put it out. I think that they're really betting on what's his name? Ryan Gosling's movie Starfighter. I think that's their real, like, okay, this is our return to form. I think that's what they're betting on, is that movie being good. Not necessarily this one. I think they just have to put out.
It's also not after
for so long.
It's funny that they criticized the movie for costing $100 and some odd million. I would argue that all those movies should have been made for $100 some odd million.
Yeah.
So maybe it's back down to what it is. Jon Favreau talked about it. You know, this is more than just a television show. It was done with a theatrical budget and things like that. Also, he admits that you do not have to have seen the Mandalorian series to get into this. And after seeing the first 7 minutes of it, it's true.
17. We saw the
17 minutes. Okay, 17 minutes. But it's true. You know, I quickly got into the story once it started, not knowing much about who the Mandalorian is and all that stuff. He does a pretty good job of at least setting the stage, but that's not necessarily going to bring people into this to buy tickets or do pre-orders,
right?
Because there feels no excitement. I don't, you know, I've seen it. Most people haven't, and so they're not excited about it.
Yeah, because I mean, who's like, other than, you know, people who are really into entertainment, who's listening to Jon Favreau? The regular movie goer isn't like searching up an interview with Jon Favreau saying that like, oh yeah, you don't have to watch the other 3 seasons of The Mandalorian in order to watch this one.
Yeah, that's why they
They're
hire
just going to be like, I
influencers.
don't know what this is.
That's why they hire influencers.
Yeah. Also, there was Mandalorian hype for quite some time, and it
Yep.
peaked with season 2, and then
Mhm.
season 3 killed all of it.
And by the way, there are a ton of videos that have just been released from influencers and YouTubers visiting the set of this movie. And they're just dropping a
Another
whole
reason to film it in
bunch.
California.
Was that?
Another reason to film it in California.
Yeah. Go ahead, Steph.
Didn't they already do that? Or was it for the set of the Mandalorian like TV show? Because
No,
I
for the
swear
movie.
they've already been to the sets.
For the movie, and they are dropping like every day. I see a new one.
Yeah, and Book of Boba Fett also ruined everyone's opinion, where they all of a sudden had 2 Mandalorian episodes in it, and then I saw someone say, "Oh, the Razor Crest is back." Yeah, he just got the same exact model of the same shit.
well,
I feel like everyone's just saying we don't
They
believe
explain
you.
that was a gift to the Mandalorian.
Right. I feel like everyone's just saying we don't believe you to Jon Favreau, because he said multiple times this isn't season 4. I still have season 4 on my desk. This was written specifically for theaters, and everyone
he
just
said
doesn't seem to believe it.
It was the change of course from season 4. He admitted that.
I finally got the spelling right on the little header down there, but let's
Thanks for letting us know, Chris.
I don't know. Look, the estimates for this are below Solo. Like
Yes.
In terms of advanced sales, is this gonna go do like no one I think could have predicted Super Mario would be as successful as it was. And it was mostly walk-up business. People that did not buy advanced tickets. They just went to a theater, bought a ticket, and saw the movie. Right? So could this because having seen that new trailer they dropped, this is a kids movie. It's a very it's mostly for kids. And the plot is very much out of a mission-based video game. You know, the Mandalorian is a bounty hunter, tracking down all these different ones in the card deck. That's it. That's a game plot.
Well, I was saying it's going to feel more like Indiana Jones than it will Star Wars.
They've been trying so hard to capture like that young audience, the kid audience. And you said that like there were walk-up ticket sales for the Mario movie. Same thing for Minecraft, right? The kids would get dropped off at the theater and want to go and see these movies, and buy a ticket and go in and see it. And Star Wars has failed tremendously in trying to capture that young audience. They never did it. They were never able to do it. So now all they're left with are really like the Disney adults and the Star Wars shows. Like that's it. And then some like maybe like just a passive Star Wars fan who's like, okay, yeah, I'll go and check it out. And
here's my prediction.
They don't have that fan base anymore. They lost it. And they've lost that fan base while failing to capture that younger fan base that they were aiming to capture. They never got them.
Yeah, here's my prediction. I think the movie is going to be better than we think it is, but that will not necessarily translate into being profitable.
Right. Well, you know what is profitable? Buckets.
Yeah.
Here we go. You look at all the buckets and cups, and you've got a Grogu puppet container, Grogu's hover pram, popcorn bucket, Mando and Grogu popcorn bucket, Grogu the tin bucket, collector tins, Mando's helmet, the AT-AT, drink tumblers. I don't know. What do you think?
Plushies.
I mean, Star Wars has always been about the merch from, the beginning.
I'd be shocked if this movie makes more than 400 million.
Same.
I'm with you.
Maybe 350.
Under
and I think from what it looks like, that's kind of what they're expecting. I don't think they're expecting it to be $1 billion.
This is just minimizing damage to Starfighter, which everyone actually is excited about because of Gosling and some of the things we've heard. So yeah,
I think the priority
won't last 45 days.
I think the priority here for Lucasfilm is not be a bad movie.
That's the priority. There is a baby Greedo in the film that we saw in that new trailer. There's a baby Greedo in a quick shot. Also in the hover pram.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be a baby Jabba the Hutt?
The little Babu freaks, bad baby, yeah, all that shit. Like
Oh my God.
that only
Oh,
goes so
yeah,
far.
such a bad
Babu's-
baby, naughty baby.
It only
Yeah,
goes
Horrible
so far.
baby. It
those-
really irritated. What irritated me so much was how they moved.
Yes.
How like the puppetry on it in the trailer. It irritated me so much because I was like, it's 2026. It should not look like that. Why does it look? Why are they moving like that? It looked terrible.
It looked bad, and it
It
gives
looked
you
like
a new-
someone tried their hand at stop motion for the very first time. Like that's how it looked.
It
Yeah,
looked
they should
bad.
just CG'd it. Oh.
But worse, those characters are like the minions of that movie. That's why I say that this movie looks like it's for kids, because that those Babu fricks, whatever their race are, they're just minions. And the puppetry, yes, I have a newfound appreciation for Jim Henson and his company. Look at how great the puppetry is
Mhm.
for those puppets, and now some of this stuff, you can't. He makes it look easy.
Well, here's
I mean-
the thing. We just got Project Hail Mary,
Yeah.
right? And Rocky was done via puppetry. They did such a great job. And I'm seeing all of these behind the scenes videos coming out on Twitter from that and how they did that, how they brought it to life. And I'm just like, that is it done right. This looked so cheap. Like it bothered me so much, regardless of how I feel about Star Wars or whatever. That really bugged me, was the puppetry that was being done with like Babu Freak and his family and little baby Yoda. It really bothered me because I was like, it shouldn't look like that.
Yeah. It was bad.
But is Lizzo in the movie?
Well, Jack Black is now, it's canon. He's part of it.
Yeah.
So, all right, more.
I feel like a better question, honestly, would be like, is the age of the franchise over, right, at this point? Because I think, there's been a lot of a lot of non-franchise movies lately that have done pretty well in the box office, and I think people are more apt to go watch that. I think people are just exhausted, man. I think they don't want to invest in another franchise, right? They don't want to invest in another 3 to 4 movies for the next like 10 years. I think people are over it. And part of it is because there's been nothing but shit for the past 10 years. But I think because of that, people are over the franchise, man. I think this might be like the end of all of this.
Oh, we say
That was the
fucking
message.
good movie comes out and then we want more of it. Sorry,
That
go ahead.
was
I'm not saying there
message.
can't be a sequel, but I don't think planning like the whole 10-year strategy thing works anymore, right? Like I don't think that's a thing.
That was the message hammered in every presentation from every studio, is the return to original material. I think Disney was the only one who really didn't present much original material from everyone else.